You've been waiting for so long, and it's finally there. It seems to be pretty close to your house, so you quickly get your keys, rush to the car, and get on the highway. A bright rainbow in the sky. You know you can't miss your chance to find its end and get your well-deserved gold. You're driving as fast as you can, and the rainbow turns into a double one. The road takes a sharp turn. The rainbow's end seems to be minutes away. You're getting closer, but it starts fading away, and it's gone. You stop the car and look around for your reward, and nothing. No worries. It's not just you. It's physically impossible to reach a rainbow's end because it's not something physical or tangible. Rainbows are optical illusions formed thanks to raindrops' superpower of working like tiny prisms. Raindrops reflect sunlight both internally and your way as you look at them. Different wavelengths of light refract at different angles. That's why the white light the sun's sending appears like a whole bunch of colors coming in a certain order. For this natural optical illusion to work, you need the right weather conditions. Plus, you have to be at a distance from it, at exactly the right angle of 42 degrees relative to the sun's rays, with the sun at your back and the rain in front of you. When you're moving towards the rainbow, it remains the same distance from you, so you can't ever reach it. Plus, the angle you're looking at it from changes, and so the rainbow appears to shrink relative to the landscape. And when you get to where the rain is falling, the rainbow will wash out in front of you. It needs a thick column of rain to reflect enough light, so you'll see it at a distance again. Two people can never see the same rainbow, as you'd have different lines of sight unless you're both looking at a picture of it. If you ask your friend to stand underneath a rainbow, the closer you get to them, the further away the rainbow will be moving from you. Your friend will see a different rainbow from their point of view, at a distance and at the same 42 degrees. On the bright side, though, this means there could be an infinite number of rainbows in the sky under the right conditions. So, you could be standing at the end of some rainbow you don't see. Someone in the distance could catch it on camera. It's not physically possible to go over a rainbow either. It could appear to one side of a plane or below it in the right conditions and at the right angle. But pictures taken from airplane windows clearly showing rainbows from above are the result of another optical illusion, birefringence. The plastic used in the window has the property of splitting light, entering it into two distinct rays. The rays are of different colors, dispersed differently. When the light emerges from the window, the two rays of light get into each other's way and create the effect of colored bands. If you use a polarizing filter on your camera, the effect is even more obvious. The water below the plane also has this polarizing effect. So, it looks just like a rainbow, but that's not it. Another reason you can't ever reach the end or the bottom of a rainbow is that it's not an arch, although it looks like one. They come in full circles. You can't see the rest of the circle because when standing on the ground, you can only see the light reflected by raindrops above the horizon. The lower half is hidden from your view. The only way to see a full circular rainbow is to hop on a plane or climb a really tall mountain and expand your viewpoint. They don't just appear during the day. A rainbow that comes out at night is called a moonbow or lunar rainbow. It's a product of light reflected by the moon, hitting water droplets in the air. It has all the same colors, but looks rather faint. The moon doesn't give off any light by itself, and moonlight is reflected sunlight, which is dimmer than sunshine. That's why a moonbow is officially a rainbow formed by sunlight and water. You can spot one of those in a full or nearly full moon, mostly in tropical areas, such as the Caribbean and Hawaii. They often have showers going on late in the evening. Fog bows are formed when light is refracted and reflected by fog. They're much fainter than regular rainbows because the water droplets in fog are smaller than raindrops. Some even seem to be mostly white, and when you see them in the clouds, it's called a cloud bow. If for some reason you want a rainbow to disappear from your view, you just need a pair of polarized shades. Hold them in front of you and turn them on the side, and voila, the rainbow's gone. Rainbows are polarized too. It means their light waves are vibrating in one vertical direction, same as in the shades. Sunglasses are designed in this way so that you don't see reflections and glare coming from pools of water or other flat surfaces. When you turn the shades on their side, you make them horizontally polarized. Now you can't see vertically polarized objects, and so the rainbow magically disappears. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Well, a rainbow isn't limited to those 7 colors you learned at school. These are just the colors of the visible spectrum. Red has the longest wavelength, and violet the shortest. Other colors like pink, brown, coral, and plenty of others are also present in the rainbow. It has up to 1 million of them. The other hues are just invisible to the human eye. Monochrome red rainbows usually can be seen at sunrise or sunset when the sun is on the horizon. Shorter wavelengths of blue and violet shades are scattered at this time, so you can only see the color red. When the light gets reflected twice inside the droplets, you can see a beautiful double rainbow. It comes out above the brighter main one, and its colors are reversed. Purple is the first color in it, and it ends in a red arch. When the light gets reflected 3 times, you can spot a tertiary rainbow. You have to face the sun to see it, because the sun is the center of it. This makes it pretty tricky to see, looking straight in the sun, and not the brightest colors. A quadruple rainbow is even trickier to detect, but they also occur naturally. Supernumerary rainbows are exceptionally rare in nature and happen only when there's a difference in ray paths and the size of raindrops. The brightest colors in them are usually red and green. Scientists have detected a 200th order rainbow in the lab. You could wear a perfectly circular rainbow around you. If you go mountain climbing when the sun is low and behind you and you get high enough so there's mist below you, you can witness the Brocken-Spector optical effect. It's your own shadow in the mist, but normally way larger than it really is. The figure is surrounded by a halo-like ring of light. This is a kind of glory, that cool effect when you see your plane cast on the clouds below you from your window seat. Some rainbows go upside down. This optical effect is called a circumzenithal arc. They occur when sunlight refracts through horizontal ice crystals at a certain angle that forms in special clouds. It happens quite often throughout the year, but we don't see it a lot as it's normally hidden by clouds underneath. If you're really lucky, you could see 2, 3, or more rainbows in the sky at the same time. It's different from a double or tertiary rainbow because they stand proud as separate arches surrounding one bolder and more colorful rainbow. Sometimes rainbows intersect with tornadoes, so they don't always bring clearing skies and quiet weather. Rainbow-colored patches of light on the sides of the sun are called sundogs. They're similar to rainbows, but way more common. They're also formed by moisture filtering the sunlight when it hits clouds of ice crystals. The ice crystals become prisms. Most sundogs are white, but they can also be colorful, from red closest to the sun to blue on the outside.
80% of what's deep inside the world's oceans remains hidden to this day. That's because the ocean covers 70% of the planet's surface, and we only have access to a small portion of that. We can clearly see around 3 miles deep down inside the ocean. So it's no surprise that our most recent discoveries when it comes to wildlife come from the ocean. I mean, there's a lot to explore, like this new shark species called the Genie's dogfish, or the longest animal ever found, a 154-foot-long jellyfish, which we just stumbled upon earlier this year in Australia. Somewhere in the Arctic and Antarctic seas, a strange phenomenon appears, confusing people to say the least. It's called frost flowers, but they're not plants at all, merely ice crystals. Frost grows on the long stem plants that manage to break the thin layer on the surface of young sea ice. Frost flowers aren't just made of water, though. They have a variety of microorganisms within, making them a small temporary ecosystem. Turns out we don't have volcanoes just on the visible surface of the Earth. Submarine volcanoes are just as disruptive to their surrounding wildlife. If the data we have so far is correct, the ocean has the most productive volcanic systems on Earth. most of them being on average 8,500 feet below the surface of the water. A maelstrom, a powerful and at times dangerous whirlpool, is a source of nightmares for seafarers to this day. What sets a maelstrom apart from other whirlpools is that it comes in an extraordinary size and force. It's so powerful, it can even put larger ships in a lot of trouble. One of the most famous of them is called Naruto, and it's located near Awaji Island. Its tides move in and out from 8 to 12 miles per hour twice a day, making it one of the fastest in the world. The sinking of the Titanic is the historical event that made icebergs famous, am I right? Well, sometimes these icebergs even come with colored stripes. They can be brown, black, green, yellow, and blue. Obviously, they're called striped icebergs, and they get their colors from various natural reasons, like the blue ones, for example, which turn up when the ice melts and freezes back up very quickly. If there are green stripes in the iceberg, it probably means it has some algae stuck somewhere in there. Other more earth-tone colors, like brown, yellow, or black, have other things to blame, like sediments the seawater picks up before freezing. Back in March 2019, scientists stumbled upon one of the most baffling phenomena ever to be found in the sea. During the exploration of one of the underwater volcanoes, they noticed what looked like a small lake, which was upside down. It was at least 6,500 feet below sea level. If you think that doesn't make any sense, well, that's because it's not real. Turns out it was nothing more than an optical illusion generated by the liquid in these upside-down pools. It gets up to 320 degrees Fahrenheit hot, and it's made of some harsh chemicals like sulfur and metals, which makes the illusion possible. The world's largest waterfall is also safely tucked underwater. It's located beneath the Denmark Strait, a portion of water that stands between Iceland and Greenland. If you suddenly grow fish gills, dive in there, and manage to comfortably breathe underwater, you'll be able to see a series of waterfalls that begin at 2,000 feet under the surface, but then drop down to a depth of 10,000 feet. In 2011, Swedish treasure hunters discovered an object on the bottom of the Baltic Sea that they described as strange and mysterious. It's oval-shaped with unusual stair formations. The head of the team who made the discovery supposed it must have been constructed tens of thousands of years ago, even before the Ice Age, and could have been part of the underwater city of Atlantis. Experts who analyzed the object believe it to be a regular glacial deposit or some other natural formation, but they still don't know for sure. Now, they don't call it the Black Sea for nothing. Located at the southeastern extremity of Europe, it even has sea smoke, which is basically steam coming out of the surface of the water. This happens because of the humidity of the oceanic water, which neutralizes the cooler wind blowing on the water surface, creating this vapor-like phenomenon. If you ever check out the ocean surface during sunset and sunrise, you might get lucky enough to see green flashes. You'll have to pay attention though, because it merely lasts for a couple of seconds. They happen because of the natural prismatic effect of the atmosphere of the Earth. During sunsets and sunrises, light emerging from the sun gets diverged into multiple colors, a process that looks like there's a green flash emitted by the water. Red tides do happen a lot of times, and although there's no need to panic when you see one of those, you still must be careful. The technical term for this phenomenon is algal blooming. It happens when there's a rapid growth or blooming of algae in the waters of the ocean. Because of the chemicals these algae contain, they may be trouble for birds, animals, and even humans. So don't be so quick to jump into the waters should you ever experience it. Octopuses and squid have a special trait that sets them apart from other sea creatures. They have 3 hearts. Wow, Valentine's Day must be very special for them. It doesn't necessarily make them more romantic, but they do need these 3 hearts to function properly. They have one major heart that helps with circulation all around their bodies, and 2 bronchial hearts that are responsible for pumping near their gills. So, with 3 hearts and 8 arms, when the octopus hugs you, you'll know she's very sincere. Based on a study published in 2013, dolphins have names for each other. particularly bottlenose dolphins, which have their own special whistles, just like human names. Not only do they develop this type of whistle to present themselves to other dolphins, but they can also learn other such names so they can better communicate with each other. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, there's a mysterious singing whale, which scientists have yet to fully understand. They call it the loneliest whale because it emits sounds at a much higher pitch than any other blue whale we've ever encountered. No one has ever seen it though, so researchers believe its strange tune may be keeping it from actually finding a partner. Aww. Now, standard blue whales have their own particular quirk. Their hearts are more than 5 feet long. They're also about 4 feet wide and can weigh more than 400 pounds. Just to give you a better idea, your heart is roughly the size of your fist, so that would be smaller. Not that we aren't a bit intimidated by sea creatures already, but just so you know, sharks can sometimes grow thousands of teeth. And not just 1 or 2,000, up to 30,000 teeth over their lifetime to be precise. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see a shark's dentist bill. Something to chew on. Scientists have yet to identify a creature on Earth that can actually live forever, but it looks like this is about to change. A tiny jellyfish that's even smaller than the nail on your pinky appears to be the living embodiment of Benjamin Button. That's because it has the ability to go back to a previous developing stage whenever it's endangered or extremely hungry and out of food. It's no surprise they earned themselves the nickname the immortal jellyfish. We've known about this species for hundreds of years, but it took us until the 1990s to discover their unique characteristics. We're yet to be sure how it's able to produce cells that regress and regrow, but they could hold a secret that might help advances in medicine for both animals and humans.